Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, now let's get into the show.
Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today is a very special episode. So this is the first in a series of many that we've just launched with James Huang, who is President of EXP Commercial. So for those of you who've been following the show for a long time, so Mission Matters Money, we cover lots of different topics surrounding money, real estate, different types of investments, and also current events. And first off, it's an honor to co-host this show with Jim. There's a lot of great things to talk about. So just first off, before I start rattling on how long I've known Jim and our relationship and all these other things, hey, Jim, just welcome to the show.
Adam, thank you so much. It's an honor and privilege to be here and, being here with you from the very beginning. I love it. And I love watching your journey and just being a part of it. So that made it a lot of fun.
Man, so this is a pretty epic day, in my opinion. So number one, it's our first time recording together for this series. But number two, I was like, come on, this is technically, is this our anniversary?
Adam, I think it is, right?
I mean, I think we've been 7 years.
7 years. 7 years, yes.
So for everybody listening, so Jim and I met 7 years ago at a Bill Walsh event, and today is Bill Walsh's birthday. So this won't be released by his birthday, but happy birthday, the 14th. So all these things were not planned, by the way. When we were warming up for this call, I'm like, wait a minute, it's our anniversary, and it's the what? How do you forget?
Well, that's what I love with social media, because I saw it on it and I said, no, Bill, we got to celebrate. And then he even said he may be here in Orange County next week. So Adam, maybe we all get together with Bill in Orange County to celebrate.
Oh man, I'm in. I'm totally in. So just to set the stage, and I guess for the show and for the season, for those of you who do not know Jim, let's just start with your background. So let's just start a little bit more about, how you got started on this journey to becoming president of EXP Commercial.
Well, it's never easy, right? And what you think you want to be, you're not. So obviously I was on a path to be a doctor, but instead I went into finance, started at Dean Witter. They merged to Morgan Stanley. Then I went to work for a large tenant and common syndicator working under the CEO. And I started learning commercial real estate back then. And when I was learning it as a W-2, I just said, you know what? I kind of want to take the leap of faith to be my own kind of broker. I had my real estate license, but I wanted to learn. And so I was analyzing, looking at property from Marcus and Millichap. So I decided to go to Marcus and Millichap to learn the commercial real estate business. And then from there, I love the relationship building. I love analyzing, looking at numbers, and the fun of putting a puzzle together. Because what I saw from Wall Street, right, under the SEC, as you know, Adam, that it's the Wild West with real estate. I said, geez, everything is insider trading because it's not all public information, but it's up to you as an individual to source and find opportunity through relationship building or networking. So I really enjoy doing it, so much so that I created my first company, BRC Advisors, in Southern California. Never easy, but it did grow. It's still around today, with being run by one of my other partners, to getting through the Great Recession, to starting another company with the legendary Rand Sperry to start Sperry Commercial Global Affiliate, which was a franchise operation, before I moved over to EXP Commercial to set up their entire commercial platform, both domestic and international, but all of the ancillary services that add to it. And when people ask us, what are you going to be when you grow up? Got to shoot high. So I said, we're going to be virtual CBRE.
Oh man, that's awesome. So I want to take a step back for a moment. So the theme of commercial, what as a profession, like what drew you specifically to commercial?
Well, one of my cousins, when they told me before I went to Wall Street, they said,
Mm.
sell the biggest things you can. So
Ah,
obviously in Wall Street, that was a big product, right? High commission check, a lot of fun, a lot of adrenaline. So stocks, right? And portfolio management was really big, right? You sold big things or companies. But then the other big thing was in commercial real estate. I just didn't gravitate to the emotional selling home, right? I knew about it going through my licensing process, but I like commercial real estate where you could build something better, right? And I always said, learning the commercial brokerage, you're learning on somebody else's time, the fundamental, how to sell, how to pitch, how to analyze, how to do all the basics. And then from there, you could really become entrepreneurial to create many businesses off the foundation. And when I first formed my first company, BRC Advisors, we were a full service company that did management, that did lending, syndication, transactions, leasing, business opportunities, M&A, right? So many other things. And I was actually buying and acquiring other companies because of just the synergies, right? That I could cross out a lot of line items. So, that's what I liked is really the appeal of selling something big and then learning the process and really building my own business.
that's awesome. First off, you've been in the industry for a long time. Second off, you've been through, cycles at this point. There's also some younger listeners, or not. When I say younger, I don't mean in their just age. I just mean like in their real estate career, and they're maybe thinking about, or maybe they're still making some of those choices. What would you tell, somebody that was listening and they're thinking about like, commercial versus residential? Not saying one's better than the other, but like in terms of starting their career, like how do they kind of know if they should make that choice? Would you say?
Yeah, I would always say, and this is the thing, learning, listening, going back and educating yourself, joining different trade organizations, right? And just listening, right? Don't talk as much, but just listen to everyone's experience, to different trade organization groups in residential, like NAR or the local realtor boards, to
Mm-hmm.
large commercial organizations like a CCIM or SIOR, ULI, ICSE, right? There's so many, depending on what you're interested in. And then when you kind of find a passion, get more involved in that organization. And then I would say, take classes, educate yourself, and find that mentor, somebody you gravitate and want to learn from to kind of help you with the pathway. And, even for me, I do look for those type of individuals that really have a passion, have the hustle, but I do want to train, and that's the training of success. If you could pass on your knowledge to somebody that's new and try to make them better than you are. So that is kind of exciting to me is playing it forward because so many mentors and advocates played it forward with me. So I always love giving back.
Man, I love that. And that's one thing that I've noticed about your career as I've followed you is that idea of mentorship and being able to help people. And I mean, in my career, I mean, that's meant so much, not just in finance, but now in media and everything else we do. Like this idea of mentorship and paying it forward. I mean, it comes back to you 10 times fold, like in terms of just, for the mentees, but also for the mentors, just in the gratifying side of things. And I'm always telling people like, make time to be that mentor no matter what. So I know you have a very busy schedule, but you still take my call when I need to get something done. I'm like, come on, Jim, I need some opinions here, man. And you still take them. So appreciate that. In terms of, and obviously, you're working with the EXP Commercial in a leadership position, but I want to preface this question correctly. So, a lot of different routes somebody can go with their real estate career, whether, when they're working with somebody, whether it's their mentor, their broker, all these different types of things. Like, what are some things that people should consider as they're building their career when they think about like who they're going to work with or what type of brokerage? Like, what are some things that they should consider?
Yeah. And that's a very interesting one, right? Where
Mhm.
you see opportunities and where you feel a good fit. But there
Yeah.
always comes to a point where you can only go so far in a certain company. And I understand the loyalty to kind of the broker owner, the mentor, somebody in that company. But if they're a true friend, sometimes they have to let you go so you can
Yeah.
fly and evolve. And that's the hardest thing. And I took it hard the first time it ever happened to me. People that started with me, groomed them, built them. Not only it's a loss of income, but sometimes you feel a loss of a friend, right? A loss of a family member. But when you really think about it, you almost have to let them go. And if you are really true friends, right, you never burn bridges. They may come back. They may create other opportunities. So I always look at it that you need to always find what's a good fit but there's a good fit for right now. But later on, there may be another fit, another company, another opportunity. But if you let that bird fly away and spread its wings, one day, if you meet and maintain good relationships, you just never know when they come back and they bring an opportunity, sometime tenfold. But I just believe that is it. Thinking about the others, and even though it's hard, it's never easy, is to let them fly and let them spread their wings and see how far they can go.
Mm. So I mean, you have a unique vantage point just overall in real estate. I mean, you're seeing, you see a lot of things. You talk to a lot of people, and so not only your experience, but you just see a lot of things. Like, what interests you right now? Like, what's exciting? Like, what gets Jim out of bed right now? And you're like, oh man, this is amazing. Like, what interests you right now in real estate?
Technology is changing and innovating in ways that most people don't even understand with the automation, AI, using data sets, and then how things could not be siloed, but virtual reality, augmented reality, shopping. I mean, I was learning from other presidents, and it's great from this position because who I do get to meet are all decision makers, and they share with me, what's going on, what do they see, and it almost completes a broader picture when you're listening to other leaders' advice from different parts, from whether it's the capital markets, finance, technology, property management, asset management, all these parts. And they're telling me what they see on their part and how things are changing. And then as you're putting all these pieces together, you're almost seeing a bigger picture. But I'll tell you, the rapid pace of technology in real estate, especially commercial, game changer, very innovative, very interesting. And that's what gets me out of bed. It's just constantly new things being thrown at me because I think I have ADD where I always need to hear and see something new, but it is really cool and game changers, which I really enjoy. And that's why with EXP, with the platform, it's evolving, right? And adapting to technology and really using it.
Hmm. So I feel like at this point, I mean, EXP is in the news all the time, lots going on. So I feel like everybody's heard of it. But for those that haven't, tell us a little bit more about the company.
Yeah, so EXP was started by Glenn Sanford, and they started building it, learning of a different model, right? So as residential keeps evolving, they keep adding and building upon what works and adding it another part. But then one of the big parts is when they bought Verbella, a virtual reality company, and then using their platform and model of attraction with this virtual reality, cutting out a lot of expenses. That was the really big game changer, but it took time for adoption, right? The hockey stick. And over the last 3 years is when the company hockey stick and became more of an agent, well, it's always an agent centric, but more of a people building, right? It's really building people, improving people that were not even a real estate company. I actually look at it, we do real estate well, but we became an incubator for many other projects and integration where the company bought a lot of tech companies. It bought Success Magazine. It keeps innovating. And one of the things with Glenn and our leadership is not thinking in the box, right? Thinking outside the box, creative collaborating with NPS scores, right? How we rate it and how we track, right? Success. And that's the big and interesting thing of how the company's grown, back in the 2009 to now. But it's really the last 3 years building that foundation that EXP turned into this multi-billion-dollar company. And it keeps going because the leadership constantly stays open-minded and evolving, right? And not sitting in a silo and not saying this is the worst thing that anyone could say. It is what it is. That's what it is, right? This is how we do it, right? It's always how can we do it better? How can we improve? And that's why I find very refreshing. And what companies win in life, right? We've looked at many of the companies that went out of business, and they use those statements. The companies that always improved and won were the companies that always looked how to do it better and how to solve problems, which, I love being in these meetings and listening to everyone adding. And that's what's exciting. That's what gets me up, listening and being around other creative leaders.
Man, that's awesome. And I've been in the virtual reality world. It is cool. Can I just say it's just amazing? First of all, like the first time I know Chirag gave us the invite, and you invited us, and we went into the virtual reality world, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And there was like, how many people were in that last virtual reality?
We had 4,000.
It was crazy. So it's hard to explain on audio right now, but for everybody listening, it's like, picture this: you enter this, like you're entering this virtual world. It feels like you're in a video game. So cool. And then you're going through, so we make our way down to the stage. So me and Chirag, and we're going to talk about, what we do and talk about branding, things like that. and talk about, how that relates to real estate, of course. And you look out and there's like 4,000 people there. You're like of all these different, like of all the other virtual reality, avatars, I believe we call them in the event. And I'm just like, wow, my mind was blown. Like it's got to be pretty cool to see this adoption and just to see as it grows and these numbers grow and to realize like, wow, it's like this huge world of people centered around real estate, but then also, as you mentioned, like the relationships, which are the important part.
Yeah, and we use it to really teach and educate, which many of the
Mhm.
Fortune 500 uses this platform, event and education, right? Because it is so important to use it. Because how else? And I was talking to different trade groups.
Mhm.
How much would it cost you to run a event for 1,000, 2,000, 5,000? Right? It costs a lot, and there's a lot of stress. But here, it doesn't cost you anything. You could throw these events and then follow up to live events, right? But you've already
Mhm.
built a lot of momentum, synergies, and the best thing is what I love so much. Now we can get other people in secondary, tertiary markets, and we had 17 different countries represented last time. Just in
Wow.
the virtual world, literally, people were at 3 o'clock in the morning, a.m., different time zones, that all around the world. And we found that was incredible that people stayed up all night, woke up early in the morning just to see what we're doing in our virtual world. And we're constantly improving it for people to start networking, start marketing their service. And I know you guys have a booth there and watch how we're going to evolve it again, December 1st to the 3rd, where we're going to do it again and how we're going to evolve this platform.
Man, that's awesome. And you mentioned something, and this is another thing that Chirag told me the other day, and I was like, "What? They bought Success Magazine? When have I heard of a real estate company like what I love is that like time after time you're putting your money where your mouth is, like Verbella, like that, like to be able to create this training environment, to create this opportunity for relationships to build, but then even the content, like who is doing that in Success Magazine? Like what an amazing brand. I mean, who hasn't read it at some time or another? Or been inspired by it or read an article or story or watched a video. I think I used to get when I had a monthly subscription. Now I do more digital. If I'm not mistaken, they used to send me a CD every month. I think it was. Yeah, it was a CD every month. This is days of CDs. I just dated myself for all of you all of you that are listening. Yes, they used to send CDs. It was a thing, and it was the coolest thing ever. But tell me a little bit more about like what that means to the company because I think it's groundbreaking. It's really cool.
Well, with success, right? You have an inventory of speakers list, right? That you always need speakers at different events. You also have a magazine, another distribution reaching a new audience, right?
Mhm.
But also success coaching, success co-working. There's so many different applications from this, especially with our real estate virtual world, that it keeps evolving like anything. We keep learning, understanding, improving, and watching, but it does rate it and bring it up to a kind of the new part of luxury, right? Starting to show luxury, and in real estate, you always want to evolve into international, commercial, and luxury business. And success is a great segue into luxury business. Especially with the brand, celebrities, and everything else, and the coaching. It is really awesome.
No, it's awesome. I'm excited. I'm excited to continue to watch the growth and to just keep on watching what we're doing. And so the point of this first episode for everybody listening, we're going to continue this series. We'll have many other topics. We'll be bringing on guests. There'll be interviews. We'll be picking, of course, Jim's brain on just like I did today, and we'll make this a successful series for you. So Jim, that being said, it's been great having you on today. I'm excited to co-host this series with you and again to create some great content together and to keep connecting and to keep on really providing value to our audience, which is what we're looking to do. If somebody is listening to this and they want to learn more about just EXP Commercial or Connect or anything just in general, like how do people follow the journey?
Yeah, so you could reach out to me at Huang, Huang, at expcommercial.com, or follow me or like me on LinkedIn or Facebook. I love to connect with people, love to listen and watch other people's journey, and bigger one, Adam, collaborate, see where we could fit. It's always great to make new friends and watching people's great journey and being there sometimes, right? As everyone's been there for us, mentoring us, cheerleading us along, and just watching the story evolve. So, really excited for people to reach out if anyone's interested with EXP or EXP Commercial, anything about our company, but also reaching out to how we can collaborate and just love listening to everyone's story and journey. So that it's always exciting. It always inspires me, Adam, especially watching you. And maybe our next one, we do it with Bill Walsh together when we see him.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm in. Well, again, thank you, Jim. It's a pleasure doing this with you. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. Hope you learned a lot. Stay tuned for the rest of the series. You're not going to want to miss anything. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, especially if you're a first-time listener. And we'll be back with you for another episode soon. And thanks again, Jim. This has been fun.
Thank you so much, Adam.